Hi, I'm Leanne and welcome to my small batch big taste kitchen. Now, in addition to this YouTube channel, you may not know, but I also run a food blog, which I've done for almost 20 years. On my blog, I have over 1,700 recipes. Now, I will link to the blog down below, but I'm often asked, what is your favorite recipe? Well, with 1,700 recipes, it's really hard to pick just one favorite one, but today's recipe, what we're making today, would definitely be in my top probably 5 recipes that are on the blog, and that is for almond torte. Today we are making a small batch almond torte, the perfect amount for 2 to 4 people. Now this almond tart is the perfect combination. It's got this sweet, gooey, soft inside with the crunch of almonds and a little sugar on the top. It is so good. For our tart, we are going to use flour, sugar, egg, salted butter at room temperature, almond extract, and some sliced almonds. For our almond torte, we're going to use a 9x5 loaf pan, and I have just lined it with what I call a parchment sling. Now, if you don't know how to cut a parchment sling, I have got a video that shows you. Super easy to do, real quick, right up there. All right, we're going to start with butter. Again, I said this is salted butter, softened to room temperature. I've got 6 tablespoons of butter here, and we're just going to take a hand mixer and we're just going to beat this butter till it's nice and creamy. A stand mixer is a little too big for the small amount of ingredients we're using, so you can either do it by hand or use a hand mixer. Then we're going to add in 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. Now you're going to need just a little bit more, another tablespoon or so that we're going to sprinkle on top later. Now you want to just mix this till it's nice and light and fluffy. Now there's actually a fun little story behind this recipe. Years ago, I had a friend who texted me and said, hey, send me your address or something I want to send you. She wanted to send me this almond torte. Now, this was something she wanted me to try, she said, to recreate. In fact, I'm going to quote her. What she said was, I am dying, capital all letters, to figure out the recipe to this. I love, capital letters, this pastry thing because it reminds me of my grandmother, who I swear used to make this. Now, this torte had been made by a friend who sold them and she would not share the recipe. So my friend wanted me to figure out the recipe so that she could make it at home. Well, I did a little Googling, a little figuring out. The almond torte arrived in the mail. I tested it, I tasted it, tested out a few recipes, and I hit the nail on the head. Can I just tell you, I think my version was actually better than her version. All right, I'm gonna tell you what my friend said when she tasted it at the end of the video. So next, we're gonna add in 1 egg. And you cannot leave this part out. An essential part is almond extract. We're gonna add in 1 teaspoon of almond extract. And then just go ahead and mix that all together. Now you may wonder why I have a towel underneath my bowl. Well, I find that the bowl jumps around on the countertop, so by putting a towel underneath it, it keeps my bowl in one place. All right, got that nice and creamy. And then our last ingredient we're gonna add in is 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Well, not quite the last, we still have to add the almonds in. And then you wanna just mix this till it's just combined. It's gonna be a thick batter. Just get all that flour incorporated. Then we're gonna grab our lined 9x5 loaf pan, and we are just going to pop the batter into the bottom of the pan. And then you can use a knife, or you can just press it down with your fingers, or I like to use my offset spatula, where this kind of helps you get down in there. Hold onto that parchment paper and spread the batter into an even layer. Now, the original recipe for this I make it in a spring form, a 9 to 10 inch spring form pan. So if you need more, I'll go ahead and link to that recipe on my blog down below. It is the perfect thing. I love to serve it at a brunch, as a dessert. But then the last step before it goes in the oven is I've got about, I don't know, 4 to 5 tablespoons of sliced, you want the sliced almonds, not slivered, sliced, and they're just raw, okay? They haven't been toasted. And we're just gonna sprinkle those, cover the whole top of the Torte with the almonds. This is what gives it that nice crunch. And then we're gonna take I've got about a tablespoon here, or a half a tablespoon of sugar. You just wanna sprinkle a nice light layer over the top. Then it is ready to go into a 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for about 25 minutes. Now the trick to this is you do not want to overcook this because you don't want to dry out the edges, all right? So I'm going to bake it for about 25 minutes. If you feel like it's not quite set in the center after that, put a piece of foil over the top of it and bake it for another 3 to 4 minutes. But you want it just to be turning lightly golden brown around the edges and set in the middle. It's out of the oven. I let it cool for just a minute, but then I'm going to remove it from the pan to let it cool some more. You can see how easy it is to lift it in and out of the pan because of that parchment sling. See, it's just nice and golden brown along the edges. Now it will sink just a little bit in the center. That's totally fine. That's totally normal. But now the hardest part, you gotta decide how many pieces you're gonna cut it in and who you're gonna share it with. Now, after I had come up with this recipe and I had tasted it, I got so excited. I texted my friend and I told her I did it. And in fact, I think my version might be better than the one you sent me. So I sent her the recipe. She made it immediately, right then and there. And this is the text that I got back. Eat in 2 pieces. I'm gonna be sick from eating so much. Yours is better, you're right. So let's cut into this and give it a try. All right, I've removed the parchment paper. I'm just gonna cut it into 4 pieces. You can totally cut it into more, but it is so yummy. It is, I like to eat it when it's still a little bit warm. You can see how soft and gooey and delicious it is in the middle. This is just so good. I hope you will really try it. Like I said, I like to eat it while it's still warm. So good. If there's a recipe you'd like to see in small batch form, go ahead, leave me a comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.